Occurred the 15th of June 1986, 23 hours 30 minutes and 0 seconds. Local location: Gary, Indiana, USA. Shape: unknown. Duration: 1 or 2 minutes. No of observers. 4 characteristics: electrical or magnetic effects, a lime green light throughout the whole house, and the air stone surged with power, throwing water 2 feet in the air. ATTN: Peter Davenport. On or about 16 years ago, during the summer, my husband and I had returned home at 11 p.m., maybe even a little later. We noticed that our home lit up in this lime green light, like floodlights were on in the house. In our living room we had a fish tank, and the air stone surged in power and was throwing the water as high as 2 feet out of the tank. Then when the light stopped, the air stone went back to normal. We had thought the high lines might have been struck, but when we asked the electric company, they said no. I asked different people, linemen, supervisors, etc. And they all said it had nothing to do with the lines. This happened outside Gary, Indiana, in a single dwelling. Inside was my husband and I, my 30-year-old daughter who was taking care of a 2.5-year-old boy, and my 16-year-old daughter. My 30-year-old daughter can confirm this. Please keep this confidential, like we talked about. Name. Add to your records only. I feel this should be noted that this happened, so if someone else this has happened to knows that they are not alone.
Occurred the 24th of August 2002, 4 hours 28 minutes and 0 seconds. Local location: Gary, Indiana, USA. Shape: circle. Duration: 5 seconds. No of observers. 1 large dark circular object hovering over highway. Me and a friend were heading from Grand Rapids, Michigan to Chicago, Illinois Saturday morning to spend the weekend there. We were just outside of Gary, Indiana at 4:28 a.m. when I happened to look up in the sky and noticed a dark, very large circular object hovering over the highway just ahead of us. As we approached, I expected it to move, but it was stationary as we drove right under it. Unfortunately, my friend who was driving had his eyes on the road and missed the whole thing. There were no lights or sound at all. It was about the size of a frisbee at arm's length, so it was either very close to the ground or very large. Our headlights did not illuminate the bottom of the object at all, so I'm thinking it was pretty large.
Occurred the 19th of August 2004, 20 hours 0 minutes and 0 seconds. Local location: Gary, Hammond, Indiana, USA. Shape: triangle. Duration: 45 to 60 seconds. No of observers. 2 characteristics: lights on object, aura or haze around object, left a trail, electrical or magnetic effects. 3 triangular glowing lights flying very slowly toward the horizon. I-90 west outside Gary, Indiana. Traveling west on I-90 toward Chicago, somewhere between Gary and Hammond. I saw 3 isocelas triangle-shaped, glowing lights that had a bright, pinkish-white hue and a lighted trail. What caught my eye was their shape, large size relative to their location in the sky, and slow movement toward the horizon. It was completely unlike the typical lights from aircraft flying at night. There was no blinking or flickering, and the size and shape indicated 3 separate movements. The lights appeared to be moving in formation. My friend and I watched and were very aware that what we were looking at was extremely unusual. We even thought about watching the news that night to see if any unusual sightings were reported. The 3 lights slowly dimmed and disappeared. I searched the sky for about 10 minutes afterward and saw no sign of them. When we got into Chicago, we learned that the air show was taking place that weekend, which we figured might have been the cause, although we both maintained this did not resemble airplane flight. When we first saw the lights, my friend was talking on her cell phone with perfect reception. Suddenly, the connection completely failed. After the lights were gone, she redialed and had a perfect connection once again. I had not forgotten the event, and when I came across this website and saw the large number of reports in and around the Chicago area for that weekend, I felt our experience was validated.
Occurred, the 3rd of July 2006, 21 hours 0 minutes and 0 seconds. Local location, Merivale and Gary, Indiana, USA. Shape, changing duration, 10 minutes. No of observers. 3 characteristics. Lights on object, emitted other objects. Lights of unknown origin spotted by 3 over Merivale and Gary, Indiana. The observers are 2 female college graduates and a female college students. The person reporting this event was seated in the back seat of the vehicle. The vehicle was driving on Interstate 65, moving toward Chicago. The event began when the driver of the car sighted what looked like a large fireball was falling from the sky. The driver referred to the object as an extremely large meteorite, because the movement of the object and what appeared to be fire surrounding it resembled a meteor entering into the atmosphere. After the object had fallen for about 1 minute, it came to a complete stop in the sky. It was a pause of about 10 seconds, and then the single object broke into 5 separate large balls of light and moved into the shape of a pentagon. The 5 lights moved as one for about another minute, and then they began to fly their separate ways across the sky. The flight did not seem to have a distinct pattern at this time. After watching the lights dance across the sky for the next few minutes, trees blocked the line of sight of the passengers. Once the vehicle was beyond the trees, the lights had vanished. A few minutes down the road, right around reaching Gary, the passengers all noticed a bright light, which put off much more light than an airplane or any other craft the passengers had seen, shoot from the left side of the sky to the right and paused. This took less than 1 second to occur. After the light had paused, it lowered altitude, paused for another second, shot straight up into the sky, and was gone. The passengers of the car all agreed that the object had moved at about the same speed that a shooting star shoots across the sky. After this short event, no other lights were spotted by the passengers.
Occurred, the 7th of November 2006, 13 hours 0 minutes and 0 seconds. Local location, Merrillville, Sherrville, IN, USA. Shape, circle duration, 1 minute. No of observers. 0 characteristics, left a trail, emitted other objects, electrical or magnetic effects. I live in northwest Indiana, minutes from USA's busiest airport. I live southeast of Midway, O'Hare, and just due south of the Gary, Indiana Griffith and Lansing ports, and just to my east about 20 miles Porter County Airport. I see planes all the time, such as commercial, cargo, small single engine, and we have air shows, so I also see all types of Air Force jets past and present on a steady basis. What I had observed near the old Broadmoor Golf Course, Pine Island wooded area southwest of the Erie-Lackawanna bike trail in the woods was utterly fantastic on the 11th of July 2006. While I was heading due south on the bike trail, I had began to smell static electricity ozone. As I got off my bike, I began to wipe myself off, and it was as if I had been charged or something, but it was the smell that got me. It was just like the smell you get when you pull off a fuzzy sweater over a cotton shirt, but it was so strong and popping all over my body, even by my ears and hair, as the fillings in my mouth felt charged or something. It was so uncomfortable. As clear as day during my flailing around, I glanced over the tree line to my west about 120 yards away and begin to view a flat circle sitting in the air. As I am gazing at this thing, I'm going through my mind trying to figure out what it is I'm looking at. I compare it to looking in a cave in the sky with warm colors swirling in a spiral-like pattern. This thing sat still as I backtracked north on the trail to get another perspective on this thing as I saw it go down below the tree line, then back up a little higher than it was when I first saw it. Next, then for like 5 seconds, it looked like it was leaking molten liquid magma or something weird. Its perimeter turned really bright like it was being eclipsed, then blinked up, leaving a streak in the sky. What it was I will never ever know. But this thing was no airplane or bright planet like Jupiter, Mars, or a star. This object had multiple colors, that emitted something and could move like the light when you wave around a flashlight in the dark. This is my only unexplainable sighting of a phenomena or aerial vehicle. Thank you, name deleted.
Occurred, the 22nd of June 2007, 23 hours 15 minutes and 0 seconds. Local location, Gary, Indiana, USA. Shape, light duration, 1:45. No of observers. 2 characteristics. Lights on object, white geometrically moving lights on a stationary craft over Gary, Indiana. It was a cloudy evening, and the 2 witnesses living a mile apart could see 4 fast-moving lights, north, south, east and west, that would move, bump each other and go back apart. It was like the spokes on a wheel. The lights would make a small turn and go back into the center of the wheel. When the lights would bump in the center, they would stay lit. It was absolutely nothing like a searchlight. From the ground, using the naked eye, it appeared that the lights were about 4 to 5 feet in diameter. The lights were a soft white with lots of movement inside of the actual light. There was no sound at all.